right, it tells me I am live. So, hello, welcome back. I see already it's showing me like just staring at the screen because I have a 30-second lag here. That's on me. Sorry. Welcome, everybody. I see Snow, Pugo, Zevel, Kavanagi. Kavanagi's first. Zevel, glad to see you as well. Um, let's see. Snow has various languages there. I see Pugo. I apologize for being late. I am going with whatever nap times are for my tinoket. So sorry, 3:30 was perfect, and then it just wasn't anymore. So I can already actually hear her right now, kind of um, fighting the nap in the other room. So let's see. Shalom. Hi. Hello. Vader. I really just want that to be Vater. Vater in Dutch. So welcome back, everybody. It's been a while. I have had a lot going on. A lot of travel for work. I think I've been gone since like before. For those of you familiar with the appropriate calendar for this language, since before Shavuot. I am happy to be back. I may or may not be able to live stream next Sunday and the Sunday after, depending on what I have happening here and so on. So just a lot of stuff going on. If I see Hope, hi. Intellectualize, hi. Time G37, hello to you as well. So I'm going to get back to this. For any of you who are studying along with me, maybe you'll remember where I last left off. And I will say what I've been doing lately is a lot of Duolingo, a lot of kind of going through the colloquial Hebrew second edition with my wife, who's also studying. And I'm basically her human Anki. I'm just like, she can confirm this. I'm just like, how do you say this? How do you say that? And I'm like trying to remember what was in each of the chapters and kind of coming up with ways to improvise. This is sort of the idea behind the Michel Thomas method, where he just kind of very calmly was like, "How do you say this?" I see some more hellos. Hi from Matt. Hello back to you. It's been a weird time, so I have had a lot of work in California, in Norfolk, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. I gave a keynote speech to the American Association of Electronic Reporters and Transcribers. That was a lot of fun, but it's just been a lot of stuff lately. And also, things have been weird. So I mentioned on my Instagram story that I got spat on the street on Friday. And I don't know, exactly why, but because it's not like he, yelled a slogan or anything when he when he like assaulted me. But I have a hunch. And anyway, I don't know. It's a hot day in the city. It could have just been he was feeling crazy. When I was like, "Yo, what the," and looked like I was ready for a fight. It was like I saw like the lights turn back on, and like he snapped back into awareness and was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." He didn't actually say all that. He just was like, sorry. But he'd already like spat on me at that point. So anyway, it's been a weird time. It's been pretty rough, and I am enjoying actually studying Hebrew. I will also add that a lot of the Hebrew that I've been studying lately, I mentioned to others that I am, I think on another live stream that I am pursuing what's, if you speak enough Hebrew to understand it, what's called a Gior L'Chumra or Gior L'Safek. And what that means in practice is that a lot of the Hebrew that I have been studying. Oh, what is my shot here? Is that the right shot? There we go. Oh, I see. It's showing me a weird shot. Okay, it's showing me on OBS a very strange shot. But hopefully you all are seeing full screen. Yeah, okay, I see what's going on. Interesting. So anyway, a lot of what I've been studying has been things that are like, if the Yotze doesn't have kavana when listening to the Motzi, then Mavarech is, possibly saying a bracha levatala. Like it's Ashkenazi pronunciation. It's very specific terminology. It's not going to be super helpful on the beach in Tel Aviv. I see. Vader says, "Is the volume low only for you?" I hope so, but let me just double check my mics because it could be my sources. I've been using weird sources lately. So let's see. Main shot, M50 audio capture is my road. Shalom, Junipero. Shot and what you should be seeing right now, it looks like my audio, also Rode. So hopefully you can hear me. I think it's just you. Oh, Aaron says it's low for you too. Okay. How about now, everybody? Got the gain a little higher. Hope that sound is good for you. So who knows? I turned off the air conditioner so it wasn't gonna mess with everybody's audio. Someone says Echata ani Baruch Hashem. I'm okay. KJ says, the religious Hebrew, it's the modern you need more work on. Well, let's do it. Let's get into this. So for those of you who are following along, playing the home game, as usual, we're using the Colloquial Hebrew Complete Course for Beginners, although I will say that I do have some other sources that I've been using. I see Matt says, by the way, words like bracha, bracha levatala, or I'm fine from daily Hebrew, you just change the stress. Exactly. All right, so I think we last left off at mishpacha v'tochniot, and we talked about possession and so on. The other thing that I wanted to add, and I'll do this maybe some other week, is that I've been listening to podcasts. I listened to Zman Ivrit, which is a intermediate podcast, and I'm like halfway through the Duolingo course. I'm able, she speaks slowly and clearly, but I'm able to understand everything that I'm hearing in a 30-minute podcast, which is fantastic. I am not by any means able to generate that kind of speech just yet, but it is working. And I mentioned Duolingo, and I see other people are saying that the audio is still low, so I'm going to see what I can do here. I mentioned Duolingo, and I am actually releasing a video coming up, I think this week, hopefully, where I have gone through every single language in Duolingo and am evaluating them. So I talk about whether it's actually good, whether the audio is good, how long the course is. I have information that they don't want you to know, including like the length of every single course in Duolingo, because I did some digging to figure it out, and I have my little spreadsheet here. So just thought, it's a little bit of a teaser for everybody for what's coming next week, but it's going to be a lot of fun. This coming week, rather. Hopefully Wednesday, but we'll see. I'm always aiming for Wednesdays, and many of you who watch my videos know I hit like Friday. But I'm aiming for Wednesday, so we'll see what happens. For those of you with the audio issues, let me just, I'm looking at this, enable down mixing, I don't know. Let's see. How does this sound now? Yeah? Let me know. All right. I'll keep messing around with the audio settings. But in the meantime, for those of you who can hear me, yeah, it's going to be good. By the way, the video, like the script is very long. It's like mine are usually like 2,000-3,000 words. This is like 5,000 or 6,000. I talk about every single language. I've done the Klingon. I've done the Latin. I've done everything. There's a bunch of weird stuff in it. So like you won't believe, which language is the third longest language in Duolingo with the most content. Number 3 will shock you. It actually is kind of shocking. So, tune in when that drops. And I have some graphs throughout and some fun facts and so on. One of the things that I do say, though, is that the course for Hebrew is simultaneously very bad and also one of the best things out there. The other being this sort of colloquial Hebrew textbook that we have here. So we had family and plans, mishpacha v'tochniot, and I'm going to see if I can make this even bigger still. And, oh, my wife says I just made the audio worse. All right, let me let me fix this. Man, anytime I go away or, unplug anything, everything breaks. And it's just a lot. All right, let's see. Audio capture, enable down mixing. Yes. This should be better. Audio was better before. All right, then here we go. This is what you're going to get. Volume up, everyone. I'm doing my best. It's a struggle. I mean, you can see I have the microphone right here. Um, let's see. How about now? Yeah, yeah, or better now? Somebody tell me, was one better or is two currently better? I'll wait a moment. Putting it right in between the two of those, and you can tell me which is better. Maybe I need to just talk louder. Let's see. We did family and plans, and talked about actually the last thing that I learned, if I remember. Well, the last thing that I remember learning is that I got a lot of help with kamuvan and kanere and what they mean. And then we talked about possessives, refrigerator, mikarer, zman, blah blah blah. We did all this, so I'm going to move on to I think the next chapter, shopping at the mall. Now, I will say there's one thing here. They have bo natchil, and I was intrigued by that. But okay, Zevel says now it's good. Okay, maybe I just needed to mess around. Better with headphones. Yeah, everything's better with headphones. All right, so I also see in the chat. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place today. Shahar, I am not planning on doing another Arabic live stream, and that is because the textbook is awful. I went through it. Maybe I'll do one last stream for people where I just say like, here's how you can get the most out of this textbook, but it is really, really, really bad to the point of being, I think, practically unusable, and it's not necessarily easy to share. If there are other resources that people are using and they recommend that are maybe good for Levantine Arabic in particular, and something that I can share on screen while I study, then that's something that I would love to look into because it's still a language that I am interested in. But I think the Routledge colloquial Levantine Arabic is like unusably bad. It is confusing. It is you don't learn how to conjugate verbs until like 10 chapters in. Even then, it's not clear how exactly it works. On one page, they say that there's no future. There's just a present, like a past and a non-past. And on another page, they show you how to conjugate for negation for the past, present, and future with different like prefixes. It's just not good. So that happened, and also the main reason that I was going to study for a few months, and I was going to go talk to a Levantine Arabic speaker I know, with a sort of food truck that's really good. He moved, so I just don't like I have no motivation with a bad textbook and no reason to do it. I will say I think the colloquial Persian was really good. The colloquial Hebrew is like okay. It looks like they have a Zulu course, which actually I may go back and look at because it includes the tones and everything, but that's brand new. Hopefully it's a little bit better. So as I was saying before, I took that little digression. I was intrigued by bo natchil, which is like, come, let's start. They have bo, bo-i, natchil, and I looked in the grammar of Hebrew that I have by Louis Glenart. And it's a what do you say, like a commissive. There's subjunctive, there's jussive, there's like imperative, whatever. The idea is like it's an imperative, but for us, like let's do this, let's do that. Why don't we do this? And my understanding, but I can ask people about this. My understanding is that people just say bo, and then you use the future first person plural. So natchil is like we will begin, but like bo natchil. Let's start. So yalla, bon atril. Let's get into it. Tell me though, so Zevel or any of the other native speakers here, how do you say boi to a like single female speaker? Do you say bou ever, or is it just bon atril, like bo natril, bo nedaber, something like let's do this? Because I it seems like the kind of thing where it might be grammaticalized as just bo. Andiamo, exactly. Zeppa. Yeah, I forgot you were doing Italian. Yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, let's see. More question words. We did all this last time, so let's keep moving forward. I talked about yachol, yachola. There's sort of adjectivey. I think we did all of this stuff, right? So Artzot Habrit, Nasui. Word pairs in the first edition, they say word pairs and verb group one and all this stuff. In the second edition, they actually talk about construct state, and you actually have it here in the Hebrew Smichut. So I think I talked about these as well, but for those of you who are new to this, this is kind of a cool pattern in Hebrew, and I'm trying to get my head around when exactly it is used versus it isn't used. But they start with the feminine, which is easy because you just add a ta to the end of the word. Masculine, you don't even make any changes in general. And so, chavera is a noun, which is like a member. Kibbutz is a noun, so member of kibbutz, chaverat kibbutz. Tachana is a station or a stop. Rakevet is a train, so tachanat rakevet is a train station. It's like anything that you can do in English that way, like a wheel of cheese or a cheese wheel, right? Like the same kind of idea. And they, of course, start with Magen David and Salat Chatzilim. All right, so sometimes there's phonological reduction. I have Bait becomes Beit Cafe, Beit Sefer. And then the last thing that's kind of tricky for everybody at first is that it is, let's see, you add the before the second word. I see, do I have two monitors? Yes, I'm looking over at one, and I am, I have my textbook on the one monitor below my camera. I have my other monitor over here where I can see OBS Studio and all that good stuff. Magen David Adom, perfect example of a construct state. And also, let's see, I'm getting a bunch of texts. Okay. So I saw on Twitter a while ago that basically any two nouns in construct state sounds like the name of a synagogue in the U.S. Chaim Shali, if you are still watching this, please take me off the text group chat because I'm getting notifications on my wrist. All right, let's see. Using the Semitic modified ending possessive using preposition shall may be a stylistic choice, or in certain contexts there may be only one that's idiomatically correct. Yeah, and that's sort of what I'm trying to feel out. Basically, anything. So, Kosa, I saw somebody talking about on Twitter, like any construct state, any two nouns in construct state sounds like a congregation deal. So you just put congregation in front of it. You have, B'nai Yisrael, B'nai Jeshurun, B'nai, they say Jeshurun in the U.S., Anshe Chesed, Ahavat Yisrael, like all this stuff. But there were all these jokes about like Ugat Glida, Ugat Gvina, and so on and so on. Zevel says, when will you see Chaim Shali? Probably never, but that's entirely up to her. We keep some good OPSEC here. You don't know, what the family looks like, where we're going to be, all that stuff. I'm already getting spit on by strangers. I don't need to be spit on by people I know. All right, so we have this like exercise here. They do the family, which is, this is just a terrible chart, absolutely terrible. If you were actually studying Hebrew, take some time to learn this, but this chart is very confusing. Just to really quickly, you have Saba and Sapta. They are the you have they're the chorim of these two, so Ben and Bat, but then they're married out, so the husband is Baal, and then this is the choten, choten for the Baal. It's very, very confusing chart. They could have taught this in a much more clear way. But yeah, they taught all this. They taught the family relationships. I'm gonna skip ahead. We have some adjectives. These are great: married, nasui, and nesua, single, ravak. Blah, 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 difficult, caché, clever, chacham. They've already taught a lot of these, which is weird. They add them at the end here. So not sure why they add these here as well. But I want to move on to the next chapter because this is like, meh. So we see matzchik, matzchika, hadoda sheli matzchika, my aunt is funny. Describe everything. We have be'aya, we have a problem. Yesh lanu be'aya, en lanu be'aya. So let's go to Kniot, Bikanyon. So Canyon, I love that Canyon is a shopping mall. I love that. And I'm going to see if I can find my I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll see if I can find my audio here as well if we want to go through this. But I want to go through sort of grammar and the word pairs here. So in this one, the scenario is after spending a few days in the hot Israeli summer, Peter realizes he could do with a quick shopping trip for a few essential items before setting out on his tour with Maya. The general consensus here is that it's hot in Israel. Like in every chapter, they're like, man, it's really hot compared to England. So, sure. I am living that right now because it is very hot here, and I have turned off the air conditioning, the mezig avir, the mizgan, right? Is that right? And mezig avir, cham, mamash cham. So I see Mozart, Ela, and wants to ask an unrelated question. Zevel, my official moderator, has given you the green light. All right, so again, the way that I do this for those of you who are brand new here, I like to read the English, read the vocabulary, then I go back and I might read the transliteration or the original, and I'll listen to the dialogue and hear how they actually say this stuff. So the English, we got a little discussion here. Where can I buy some summer clothes? So that's begadim kites, right? I haven't any suitable clothes. Not how I would say it, but very British, for your weather because it's not as hot in England as it is here. Maya says there's a shopping mall not far from the bus, which is open early in the morning. They open at 8 o'clock there. He says, what shops are there? She says, everything. And then we get a bunch of like shopping related terminology. So it's a good way to kind of shoehorn all this in. So there's shops, shoes, glasses, optical and sunglasses, bookshops, 2 sports shops, a large menswear store. What else do you need? And he, of course, being a British tourist, needs sun protection. Sun protection cream and a suitable hat. And she says you'll find hats everywhere. They sell cosmetics in the super farm. So we're going to go through and look at these and learn this vocabulary. Mazgan. I got it right except for the first vowel. Okay. Mazgan. All right. So far, rachok. Very hard for me to say because rachok. We learned patuach, which is, we already learned poteach, to open, like the verb. So patuach is like a adjective from the passive. So shepatuach. Mukdam, early. We learned kedem. Kedem is a very, very, very ancient word for east, and then therefore came to mean like before or early because the sun rises in the east and goes to the west. So, refresh. I see Mary inquires to my permission to ask a question. When people ask me on the street, they're like, yo, can I ask you a question? I'm like, you just did. Keep it moving. They don't like that. Can I ask you 2 questions? You just did. All right, so early. Mukdam. All or every, kol or all or everything is the everything, right? The every, hakol. Shoes, na'al, and we have the plural is actually the dual, na'alayim, like Yerushalayim. Glasses, also in the dual, mishkafayim. So mishkaf, mishkafayim. And then this is where they use this to introduce the construct state for masculine plural. So mishkafayim, we'll count that as a masculine plural. Sun, glasses, right? That's 2 nouns. Glasses is the plural. Mishkafe, shemesh. Versus mishkafe re'ya. Re'ya is going to be related to like ani ro'eh, like I see something. So re'ya. I am absolutely just talking my way through, thinking through this vocabulary. Book, sefer, they've already taught that. Svarim, so I'm assuming they're going to teach us some sort of like, I don't know, sifre, whatever. Man is gever. Gvarim. There's also, I understand there's more sort of nuance to that. Let's see. Sun protection. Krem hagana. So krem, loan word from, I don't know, French or something. It's cream. And hagana is protection. Hat, kova, which I will always remember because in the military it's your cover. You don't go outside without a cover. And be'aya, problem. We've already seen that in the last chapter. Yeshlanu be'aya, with the seating chart. So there you go. Mochrim is first person plural. They sell mocher, but it's also like the present tense plural, right? Mochrim, they sell. We sell, whatever. But the idea is that it's generic. So mochrim, anytime that you want to say like one does this or they, generic, they do this, My understanding is you can use this form. And then we have mutzar is a product, and cosmetica, so also a loan word. All right. I see in the chat the S in French is pronounced the tongue and the edge of the palate, but it's a bit further back for Spanish. Could this be represented in the IPA, and are there any studies on this? The answer to both questions is yes. Yes, absolutely. And I can tell Greek speakers from Dutch speakers, speaking English based on their S's. Absolutely. That is something that you can notate with the IPA. Let's see. I see Nal. Okay, Vader, what are you saying? There's a good song called Ra'im Rachok Ra'im Shakuf, which is going to be hard for me to do that. Pugo says Kedem is early in biblical Hebrew as well. Exactly. So Chadesh Yamenu. Kedem. So let's see. Na'al. I guess that may be, Mishnaic Hebrew or something. Let's see. Okay. And I see, am I Jewish myself? Is that Jewish little hat you're wearing, or is that just a cool hat? ¿Por qué no los dos? All that is halachically required is a head covering of some variety. And so I mix it up sometimes. All right. We've swerved into Ladino. All right. So we've gone over this vocabulary here. Let's take a look. We said, okay, there's going to be this conversation. So let's kind of look at it here. Now, I hate how this breaks everything up. All right. We can do it the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. I think for a lot of the viewers, I can read. If you learn the alphabet or the abjad, you can read too. So you don't have to do that all the time. And I find that it is easier for myself to use the transliteration if I'm learning it for the first time, and then I can work on reading and so on. I see in the chat, what languages am I planning on learning after Hebrew? And I'm definitely going back to Farsi because it's just delightful. I've been working heavily on French lately just because I still have family in France, and I actually want to be able to. I mean, I'm certified at B2. I'm probably somewhere in the C1 range, but I want to speak really good French. And then after that, Spanish, I have to. Basically, one of the things that I've realized is that there is a lot of interest in Spanish. So if I'm making a channel about language and I'm not talking about Spanish, I'm being kind of dumb. So I need to actually get on my Spanish. I've studied it for a while, but I want to really, improve my level there. Mejorar mi nivel in español. It's also a sort of gateway to Ladino as well. And I might go back to Zulu. So that's your answers. Poondog, finally here. All right. Snow said Chinese, maybe. Chinese I'll go back to. I did an undergraduate degree in East Asian Studies with a specialist in Chinese, and when I learned Chinese, we used a paper dictionary, and if you wanted to hear spoken Chinese, you could always go to the language lab and listen to the cassette tapes that came with the Xin Shiyang Hanyu Keben. Now there's a lot more and a lot better options, and I may go back to it. A good friend of mine just moved to Taiwan recently, and so I might actually want to go visit, but I'm at sort of holding at like a A2, B1 level in Chinese. It's kind of, I'm okay. But I've lost a lot of the interest in going to like Beijing or something, so it's a little harder. Mozartela said, what is learning a language for you? Studying. It's a lifelong, you said it's a lifelong experience. Yes. I would never say that I've learned a language completely. I do think if you speak it at a C1, C2 level, you can be like, yeah, I speak whatever. But if you're at like A2, I'd be like, I'm studying this. I've been studying it for a long time. Speaking of studying, let me get back. Snow says, yes. And Zevel said, if I decide to learn Chinese, it's game over. Game over, man. All right, just nuke it from space. I'm dating myself with the references to a movie from, what is that, like 1979, 81, something like that. All right, Peter says, let me switch out my view. Let me find my audio, and let me actually see. Let's compare how well I'm actually saying that to Peter from England. So let's see. Just making sure. Yeah, you just see me. Have all my desktop stuff. I had to dump all my desktop stuff into a folder because it was getting to be too much. All right. Chris mentioned Zulu and Swahili. Zulu, the reason I have for that is I studied Zulu in grad school. There's a professor at University of Toronto, not Toronto, at UPenn, who is a native Zulu speaker. Actually, TA'd for her classes for a while, and I found that a lot of the resources, even the resources that she used, were a little. I wasn't a huge fan. Her class was great, but it's just. It was not I was not happy with the resources, and yeah, I really would like to go back to it, but one of the main issues is it's a tonal language, and none of the resources actually provide you with tone marking. They just don't teach it. Efo, not efo. Did I say efo? Let me not do that. All right, let me get my audio open, and let's see. Do they tell us what track this is? No, they just say it's audio somewhere. So it's time for audio somewhere. Let's find these. Anyway, I do like Zulu a lot. I just found it really hard to progress, and honestly, I stopped in part because I was like working on my dissertation. It was just too much stuff. But I have some good resources, some okay resources, and I'd love to go back to it because it's just a fun language. It's honestly, if you speak any French, it is very similar to French in weird ways. So maybe I'll make a video about that sometime. All right, let's see. I guess I could preview these audio tracks. Let's see. Open with. It's got to be further than that. It's got to be like in the 30s, right? Let's see what track 43 is just randomly. Did I open? No. I want to do this in Audacity because I love doing that. By the way, like I said, I turned the AC off, and it is slowly climbing. Temperatura. What is that? Ole? Like it rises? It's climbing. It's climbing. Let's see. Oh man, all sorts of good conversation happening, but I'm going to learn Hebrew here while you guys talk.
Listen to the example before you start.
No thanks. Okay, let's just see. Where are we?
Questions and answers.
No. I will say the audio included with these is some of the best parts of what makes these colloquial series usable and good. Let's see. Open with Audacity.
למה את כבר לא חברת קיבוץ?
Okay, so that's the last chapter. I'm getting warmer. Peter speaks very well for such a foreigner. I'm going to guess track like 47. Let's find out. Oh, is it too loud now? Okay, you guys, I'll turn it down. I'll keep it all balanced.
A young man, clearly foreign, and a middle-aged woman are standing chatting at a falafel stall.
That's a meet cute if I ever heard one. Let's try track 50. See if I went too far. Temperatura hola. Okay, thank you.
Questions and answers.
Questions and answers. Have I gone too far? Welcome to the live stream.
Can you put these word pairs into the plural? You'll find this exercise.
Word pairs. Let's try 48. We're going to see. I'm going to work this out, figure out exactly which lesson it is. This sounds right.
Unit 6.
קניות בקניון.
All right, so hopefully the audio is good. Let's see. How long did it take you to get decent at the tones in Chinese and Zulu? Can't hear the difference at all. Tonal languages seem harder than everything else. Zulu has 2 tones, so it's not that hard. It's just recognizing it, but I'm bad at it, which is why I keep talking about the fact that it's Oh, my wife says this is still too loud. Okay, I'm bad at the audio, the tones in Zulu because there's not a lot of good resources for understanding where they're used. They just kind of pretend like it's not tonal. Chinese, they teach you as tonal, but then they kind of teach you a weird number of tones, and people get fixated on tones. So I see people like bobbing their heads when they talk, and you look ridiculous when you do that. So that's why I like anything with audio where you can hear full sentences and hear like phrasal level intonation. The thing about Chinese is most words are 2 syllables, and so you have like 16 tonal combinations or melodies that you can use, and then they kind of interact with each other, but it's not that much. So it's just practice and play it back to yourself and get the melody of it. I will say, you ask how long it takes to get good. I'm not sure that I am good. Um, okay, drop her audio, drop her audio, drop her audio. How about, I say, Chaim Sheli is telling me that, so thank you. How about now?
Unit 6.
Yeah, is that too loud? Somebody tell me. I'm kidding. And I see Zevo, have I watched Piece of Hebrew lately? I have watched them. They gave me access to the club, but I can't get it to work. So I'm gonna work with them in the future once I figure out all my technology. I think I broke everything recently trying to stream with a capture card. Okay, Neshama Sheli, are we? How's my audio? Let's hear Unit 6. I'm gonna play it. Too loud. I'm trying. You guys see me here dropping this, right? Like it says low. It's getting low enough that I'm not going to be able to play it. Let me check in. Oh, I see. I see what's happening here. This should be lower. I see. Are podcasts or radio good for language input? Yes. Podcasts and radio are amazing. Even if you're not listening actively, it's they're really really good just for making connections and just hearing the rhythm of the language and everything. I'm getting really annoyed at OBS right now because this all should be approximately the same volume and none of it is. So very frustrating. Is she again way too loud? Brace yourselves, those of you on the other end. I'm going to try it again.
קניות בקניון.
Yeah, if you boost my mic, okay. How about now? Otherwise, I think it's an OBS issue and not a me issue. Can you hear me now? Louder or the same? Farty arty, are you saying yeah that I'm louder now? That's what I get for streaming with a delay. Oh, audio mixer. There we go. Audio input capture. I see now. Okay. I'm going to get this together. Desktop audio is like super low. Why is that all the way down? Okay, that's all the way down, but you were saying that's too loud. Okay, audio input. This is bizarre because it's giving me options for the audio. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? How's the level now? Large Dark Rooster says, and Yair says you can hear me very well. Hebrew's louder. I'm kind of the same. All right. Let's see. Mic, auxiliary, screen capture is all the way up. Let me drop that. All right, let's do this. Try it again. All right. I've turned her volume up. My level's not changing, but now there's an echo. Get out of here. I'm gonna call it pretty soon. All right. Okay. I know what I did. All right. No echo now, right? Oh my god. All right. I'm getting there. I see. channels are desynchronized. This is getting crazy, you guys. Echoes are gone now, so I know what I did. It sounds like I'm speaking through a bathtub. All right. I'm gonna literally have to pick another day, live stream on private, have like, you know, a friend or something like tune into the stream, and we're just gonna troubleshoot what's going on. There is a siren outside. Yes, I live in Manhattan. So okay. Lady might be loud. Somebody tell me if she's too loud. If I do this.
קניות בקניון.
Shopping at the mall. Dialogue 1. After spending a few days in a
Better.
summer, Peter realizes that he could do with a quick shopping trip for a few essential items before setting out to his store with Maya. What is he looking for in particular?
Awesome. Okay, now it's fine. All right. Instead of troubleshooting, back to Hebrew. All right. So he said, "Efo אני יכול לקנות בגדי קיץ." Okay. So he said, now it's too quiet, but everybody else is saying much better and perfect. Zella says I've ruined it. Too far? All right, I got you. I got you.
יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס, שפתוח מוקדם בבוקר. פותחים שם ב8.
איזה חנויות יש בקניון?
יש שם הכל. חנויות בגדים מצוינות, נעליים, משקפיים, משקפי ראייה או משקפי שמש, חנות ספרים, 2 חנויות ספורט, חנות גדולה לבגדי גברים. מה עוד אתה צריך?
אני צריך גם קרם הגנה וכובע מתאים.
אין בעיות. כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום, ובסופר פארם מוכרים מוצרי קוסמטיקה.
Which 3 items does Peter specifically want?
All right, it was perfect. Then it got progressively quieter. It's okay now. I understand now where my levels are. I have no idea why my audio mixer was set differently and why everything. Honestly, I gave a keynote speech and they used my computer and they connected it to their display, and the tech guy messed around with my display settings, and I'm a little frustrated because I'm still getting back to getting all my settings correct. And they're actually still not correct. So on OBS, I'm looking at like a weird image of the screen right now, but it's fine. I'm going to get it together. This is what happens when you take the same computer that you use for live streaming and you take it with you and do a bunch of work where you plug it into like 5 different displays on the road. So maybe I need just a cheap travel like notebook. All of that said, let's get back to Hebrew, because I have spent like how long having you all troubleshoot my audio, which is incredible of you, but let's actually do something with this. So, איפה אני יכול לקנות בגדי קיץ? So we talked about beged is clothing, so gadim is clothes, and then bigdei kites is summer clothing. Let me hear how he actually said that. Let's do this together. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit.
איפה אני יכול לקנות בגדי קיץ?
All right, let's do this.
איפה אני יכול לקנות בגדי קיץ?
Elf for light. Now that everything's proper, you're off to sleep. Everything kol beseder. I'm the only YouTuber you came across today. I'm so sorry. All right. Yeah. Thank you for everything.
איפה אני יכול לקנות בגדי קיץ?
איפה אני יכול לקנות בגדי קיץ?
אין לי בגדים מתאימים למזג האוויר שלכם, כי...
All right. I'm going to turn the audio playback up on for me. Hopefully this is not too high for you all.
אין לי בגדים מתאימים למזג האוויר שלכם, כי באנגליה לא חם כמו פה.
All right. Ainli. What do you say? Ainli gadim matimim, which they did not translate in the vocabulary or introduce anywhere else. I know this from elsewhere is appropriate. Matim is appropriate. It is like mem, I don't know, tav, aleph, something like that. Pugo, Laila Tov, Chodesh Tov. Like have a nice beginning of the month.
אין לי בגדים מתאימים למזג האוויר שלכם.
אין לי בגדים
אין לי בגדים מתאימים למזג האוויר.
מתאימים למזג אוויר.
אין לי בגדים מתאימים למזג...
So בגדים מתאימים is like very hard for me as a native English speaker to parse as two words.
אין לי בגדים מתאימים למזג האוויר שלכם, כי באנגליה לא חם כמו פה.
כי באנגליה לא חם כמו פה. לא חם כמו פה sounds like remix.
לא חם כמו פה.
I want to just loop this.
לא חם כמו פה. לא חם כמו פה. לא חם כמו פה.
Patrick asked, do I know the name of the study about the vocal pitch that I mentioned in my most recent video on Black English? Off the top of my head, no. But if you search for like African American English and F0, literally the letters like lowercase f and the number 0, you should be able to find a fair amount on
לא
that.
חם כמו פה.
All right, let's get this sentence.
אין לי בגדים מתאימים למזג האוויר שלכם, כי באנגליה לא חם כמו פה.
All right, so אין לי, אין לי בגדים מתאימים, what do you say, מתאימים למזג אוויר שלכם, שלכם, yeah, כי באנגליה לא חם כמו פה. Nice and fast. Patrick, same thing, F0 and like ethnic. If you search like phonetics, F0, ethnic identity, or like Jewish, you should find it. And some of this research goes back to like the 1980s. So I'm trying to think like some of it is authors who were at Georgetown. I haven't read the articles like recently, so I'm going by memory. But I'll try to find them. Kavanaghi likes that como is sort of like Spanish como. Yeah, that's how I remember it. Como in French, like como, just like here.
יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס.
So I see in the chat, gadim matimim, appropriate clothes could also mean clothes with a good fit.
יש קניון.
Could that also be appropriate clothes for like where you're going? Like, you know, gadim matimim le, I don't know, chof hayam or something like. He says le mezig, so matimim le, like appropriate for, right? Unless Israel, shelachem, not shelachem, was a country with only women. You know, if you look on Instagram, the travel stuff, the tourism stuff, they seem to indicate that it's only women in bikinis with like automatic rifles. So could be, you know, maybe Peter had the wrong idea when he showed up.
יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס, שפתוח מוקדם בבוקר.
Zevo, get some rest.
יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס, שפתוח מוקדם בבוקר. יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס.
So, יש קניון לא רחוק.
יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת...
לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס.
יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס, שפתוח מוקדם בבוקר.
שפתוח מוקדם בבוקר. This is something that's really interesting for me. So I like that the colloquial series gives you like full speed speech. Somebody else in the chat mentioned Zman Ivrit, the podcast, which is great. She speaks slowly and clearly. It's fantastic. That's about the speed that I can speak. But this is much more casual, and I think it's really good to attune our ears to something like this.
יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס, שפתוח מוקדם בבוקר.
So what's he got to say?
פותחים שם בשמונה.
Oh, פותחים?
פותחים שם בשמונה.
What did she say? פותחים שם בשמונה. So they open there at 8. So we're using the sort of like impersonal right here. Zevo, לילה טוב. All right, what do we have?
איזה חנויות יש בקניון? איזה חנויות יש בקניון?
So in the last lesson they taught איזו, here this, איזה חנויות.
איזה חנויות יש בקניון?
What kind of shops? איזה חנויות יש בקניון? So what kind of shops there exist in the canyon?
יש שם הכל. יש שם הכל.
יש, okay. Listen to this.
יש שם הכל. יש שם... יש שם...
יש שם, I'm listening for יש שם הכל, and it's יש שם הכל. יש שם הכל. יש שם הכל. יש שם הכל. That is wild. There's two different reductions there that I would just not have been expecting.
יש שם הכל.
I should have been.
יש שם הכל.
I hear that, like, as a native English speaker, for those of you who are Hebrew speakers, as a native English speaker still on, I hear that as yeshamakol, yeshamakol, which is like nothing. Yeshamakol, yeshamakol, yeshamakol.
יש שם הכל.
I see Limpopo and Chris.
חנויות בגדים מצוינות. חנויות בגדים מצוינות.
חנויות בגדים מצוינות. They have wonderful clothing stores, מצוינות.
נעליים, משקפיים.
נעליים, משקפיים. We're going through a list of things. Shoes, glasses.
משקפי ראייה ומשקפי שמש. משקפי ראייה ומשקפי שמש.
משקפי ראייה ומשקפי שמש. The listing intonation is kind of interesting here too.
חנות ספרים, שתי חנויות ספורט. חנות גדולה לבגדי גברים.
Sport.
ספורט.
Oh my god.
ספורט.
Sport. That's really hard for me.
חנות ספרים, שתי חנויות ספורט. חנות גדולה לבגדי גברים.
What is this? חנות?
חנות גדולה לבגדי גברים.
חנות גדולה, so big חנות.
חנות גדולה לבגדי גברים.
לבגדי גברים. So a big store of men's clothing, not a store of big and tall men's clothing.
מה עוד אתה צריך? מה עוד אתה צריך?
מה עוד אתה צריך? What else do you need? Who could ask for anything more?
אני צריך גם קרם הגנה וכובע מתאים.
אני צריך גם קרם, see that I can hear, קרם הגנה
אני צריך גם קרם הגנה וכובע מתאים.
וכובע מתאים, and a suitable hat. I know exactly the kind of hat he's going to get. You guys know those fishing hats that everybody, like every Israeli you've ever met has?
אין בעיות.
אין בעיות.
אין בעיות.
Okay, so in בעיות. So יש לנו בעיה, אין בעיות, no problem. Is that, like, in בעיות, you use the plural in general when saying that? Somebody let me know. אין בעיה, אין בעיות.
כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום. כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום.
כובעים?
כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום. כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום.
מוצאים. Oh, one finds them. I was expecting מוכרים, like they sell them everywhere. So one finds. כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום.
כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום. כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום.
And Snow says you have a different listing intonation than her. That's interesting.
ובסופר פארם מוכרים מוצרי קוסמטיקה.
What did she say here about super farm?
ובסופר פארם מוכרים מוצרי קוסמטיקה.
They have that uba super farm. So veba
ובסופר פארם מוכרים מוצרי קוסמטיקה.
מוכרים
מוצרי קוסמטיקה.
מוצרי קוסמטיקה. מוצרי קוסמטיקה.
מוכרים מוצרי קוסמטיקה.
Plural is rarer. Okay, that's good to know. So in yeah, like no problem. There's not even one, right?
Which three items does
That lady. I will say if you learn Zulu with teach yourself Zulu, the voice for the like, you know, this is a dialogue about this is just a lot to deal with. It's possible to say both in baya and in bayot. In bayot. In baya.
Dialogue 1. After spending...
Okay, yeah. Let's hear it again. Let's listen to their intonation.
Peter realizes...
Oh my goodness, Peter. What are you doing?
What is he looking for?
איפה אני יכול לקנות בגדי
אוקיי.
קיץ? איפה אני יכול לקנות בגדי קיץ? אין לי בגדים מתאימים למזג האוויר שלכם, כי באנגליה לא חם כמו פה.
כי באנגליה לא חם כמו פה. I feel like I'm getting to the point where I can actually parse it. Don't think I can shadow it yet.
יש קניון לא רחוק מתחנת האוטובוס, שפתוח מוקדם בבוקר.
And the general consensus is say in בעיה.
פותחים שם ב8.
איזה חנויות יש בקניון?
יש שם הכל. חנויות בגדים מצוינות. נעליים, משקפיים, משקפי ראייה ומשקפי שמש. חנות ספרים, שתי חנויות ספורט. חנות גדולה לבגדי גברים. מה עוד אתה צריך?
אני צריך גם קרם הגנה וכובע מתאים.
אין בעיות. כובעים מוצאים בכל מקום. ובסופר פארם מוכרים מוצרי קוסמטיקה.
Which three items does Peter specifically want to buy?
Okay, we already know this. He wants to buy crème agana, kova, and then I don't think it's fair to count gadim kaitz as like an item. But okay, we've done this.
בגדי קיץ. קרם הגנה. כובע מתאים.
Kova matim. Okay. Let's see. Let's get a little more vocabulary before we continue. So they got some word pairs in the plural, so that's construct state in the plural. Tachanat rakevet, tachanot rakevet, so same thing in feminine, easy. Ugat tapuchim, ugot tapuchim, that part's easy. Matana, matanot, but wedding presents, matnot chatuna. Okay. You lose some vowels. Not surprising. Im becomes a, so tapuzim shel yafo becomes tapuze yafo. Bakbukim shel yain becomes bakbuke yain. Let's see, sefer, sfarim, sifrei. This is the rule of Shra that goes all the way back to biblical Hebrew, and is the main thing that I think makes all sorts of stuff like confusing to non-native speakers. I never see it explained. It actually makes perfect sense, and it's just what happens when you have two vowels that get reduced in a row. Kova, thank you. It's really hard for me to do the ones that don't have the final stress because I'm getting my stress all over the place. All right, let's see. Logan said you binged Zulu on Duolingo and it was good at teaching you about the language, but did nothing to help with the tones. And it is a very short course. Yeah, Teach Yourself Zulu. The book is pretty good because it's got audio. The classic is Learn Zulu and learn even more Zulu with CLS Nyembeze, but they're okay. There's not a lot of audio. There's not a lot of good resources for it. So I'm gonna try the Routledge colloquial and see how it goes. Let's see. What do we have in the chat here? Is it worth trying to keep up the shadow if you can't completely keep up with the text? I don't think so. I think I should know exactly what they're saying before I try to shadow and keep up. So that's like let's pick one and I'll kind of give an idea of how I would do this if I'm going to shadow. I don't usually shadow much because I just don't like it a lot. But let's see.
יש שם הכל.
Let's do that one. That was something for me. So like, oh yesh sham hakol, right? Oh yesh sham hakol.
יש שם הכל.
So oh yesh sham hakol. Oh yesh sham hakol. Kind of because it says yafo, not yafo. Patrick, is like shadowing, you mean speaking with the whole audio? That is, yeah, the idea is that you try to get as close as possible to them like their shadow. So like you repeat, but then it's like you start doing it even as they're talking.
יש שם הכל.
Oh, יש שם הכל.
יש שם הכל.
I don't need the intonation perfect. Oh, יש שם הכל.
יש שם הכל.
Sounds like Irish when I'm saying it. I don't know why.
יש שם הכל.
Oh, יש שם הכל.
חנויות בגדים מצוינות.
So I know it's חנויות בגדים מצוינות, but
חנויות בגדים מצוינות.
חנויות בגדים מצוינות.
חנויות בגדים מצוינות.
חנויות בגד... The בגדים is very hard for me.
חנויות בגדים מצוינות.
חנויות בגדים מצוינות. The idea with shadowing is like to get your accent better. You just keep doing that over and over again, listening to yourself, listening to them. Another thing that one could do, though, if one wanted to, though, is just...
חנויות בגדים מצוינות.
חנויות בגדים מצוינות. Oh, man, my audio on the microphone is really low. Crazy. And then I can hear my accent and I can go back and forth. Begadim. So I can compare this, I can compare to her. Poondog, the book that we're doing, Colloquial Hebrew from Routledge, but also there is a brand new Colloquial Zulu that I think we were talking about. Yeah. Large Dark Rooster says you like the way I pronounce my resh. Hopefully it's a good resh and not a not a bad one. Let's learn some stuff. Let's learn some more words and then I'll go. So, is leather. or gold in French. So I'm imagining already like, gold buckles on leather sandals or something. Or sandal, sandal. Easy. Sport. Shemesh. Okay. Beit Cholim, the sick house, the Ziekenhaus. And dress, simla, and the plural smalot. Smalot. So we're doing more of these like pashtidat brokoli, chanu clothes shops. So chanuyot bgadim. This looks like a really good exercise to do, but I just want to learn more words. So what we're learning here is the plurals. If they end in the two guttural sounds here, cha or ain, then you add a little vowel here. Lishmoa, lishkoach. So shomea, shomaat, shomim, shomot. And then we have a bunch of other things here. So liftoach, lishloach, ladat, linsoa. Let's see. Dan them says, this is really crazy. I just did an experiment of noise canceling using MATLAB. It would be interesting to compare accents in time and frequency domains. Is there anything about this? Dan, you are about to independently derive the entire field of phonetics. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot. Leslie says the plural smalot, that is cursed. Why? Simla smalot. Say more. But yeah, Dan, there is a tremendous amount there. You're gonna want to look into the spectra, and we do a spectrogram, and that's how you can look at accents. We use the first, second, and third formants, which are the resonant frequencies above the fundamental frequency, to look at vowels traditionally. And you can actually do this instead of MATLAB. You can do this, obviously you can do this in R or whatever else, but you can use what's called prot. And I'll show you right now. Let's take a word here.
Creme hagana.
Creme hagana. I'm going to export this as, wave. Creme hagana. I'm going to put this right on my desktop. I'm going to open it with prot. And Dan, if you're into this, man, there is a whole world about to open up for you. So let's view and edit. I exported the whole thing by accident. Whoops. Well, we'll look at crème agana. All right, so this is the audio file. This is the waveform on top and spectrogram on bottom. And these right here, you can see the voicing. These lines correspond to information that can tell you exactly how the vowel is pronounced. So let's hear this.
Big day kites.
This is big day kites. So here you have aperiodic noise, but there's a center of gravity in that aperiodic noise at about 6,800 hertz. And then same thing when you're looking at these vowels in the spectrogram, like you can see kai is this rise of the second formant here is what's happening as the tongue moves. So there's an entire world there that you can do. If you're interested in phonetics, you want to look at phonetics and spectrogram, reading a spectrogram, and it is great. Prot is free but slightly annoying, and there's all sorts of free tutorials online for reading a spectrogram. And then you can do things like take 1,000 tokens of different people saying the same word and plot it in 3 dimensions and see all sorts of stuff, how it relates to age, race, gender, education, social construction of identity. Like that is the whole field of phonetics, and it is great. And I am so excited to hear you just like talk about physics lab. It is, a lot of people don't recognize how much physics goes into linguistic phonetics and sociophonetics. So yeah, there's a lot there. And I love that you just independently like re-derived that, and this is fantastic. I actually did some work because we use formants, which are these sort of prominences, resonances, resonant frequencies in people's mouths. But Mark Lieberman, who's a fantastic professor of linguistics, he kind of is a little bit moving away from formants, and he says, we should think about Mel frequency adjusted cepstral coefficients. That's sort of the cepstrum is the spectrum of the spectrum. So that's just a little bit of wordplay. And I did a paper for him in grad school where it was like, if you do principal components analysis on 13 Mel frequency cepstral coefficients, sampled at such and such windowing time, you can actually get like a really, really clear separation. When you look in 2 dimensions and just the formants and like hertz values, you get like this just smear of everything. So like my E sound might look like my S sound on the graph. When you do sort of principal components analysis of cepstral coefficients, Mel frequency adjusted cepstral coefficients, you get this really nice separation, which seems to mimic a little bit more what we might be interpreting in our brains as we're hearing sounds. So yeah, there's a whole world there of phonetics. There's textbooks I can recommend, but if you are into physics and you are into language, this is like, there's a lot there. All right. With that said, download Prot, check it out, enjoy it. Have fun. And what better way to wrap this up? So I think it's a great note to go out on. And I will, speaking of notes and so on, I'm going to get my audio together before the next live stream. This was a little bumpy, so I want to thank you all for all your patience and your help. But yeah. And as far as talking about bg and pk, those are both incredibly difficult for native English speakers. Same thing with like a painting like tmuna. We just do not think it's actually possible to say like a T and an M sound one after another, or a B and a G sound one after another. It just takes practice. So for those of you who are struggling with it, this is the stuff that I find fun about learning a new language. Go out and enjoy. Just practice tmuna, bgadim. I don't know. What do we have? There's is there Snow? You have a PK. Can you think of a PK word in Hebrew that comes to mind? I can think of a PT like ptach, libi. Okay. All right. I see Dan is having fun. Okay, pkak. What does that mean? You can't just leave words in the chat and not tell me what they mean. I'm going to copy and paste to look it up. Oh, no. Because I'll practice saying it. Don't think I won't. Wiktionary.org. Pkak is oh my God, really? So cork. So like, this is actually, first of all, that's fun because that's exactly the same as in French. Embouteillage is a traffic jam. So cork. Do any phonetics guys blast people with x-rays to see how they pronounce words? Yes. Yes, they do. It's awesome. You can find those videos. It's very cool. Okay, pkak. The plural is pkakim. This is why I'm studying Hebrew, so I can say words like pkak, like tmuna shel pkak, right? Like what's not to love? And if it's I'm trying to think of something like feminine that I can describe as being the color black, because like shchora, like come on, what's not to love? Okay, pkak. I anytime I'm in a traffic jam from now on, I'm legitimately just going to declare pkak. It sounds like Klingon. I love Hebrew. I love this. Even better note to go out on. So I'll get my audio sorted out for next time. I promise you all this. But see, Snow, tmuna shel pkak shachor. I'm trying to get it the feminine, so I have to say shchora. Get that like get those side by side. Let's see. Tmuna shchora shel pkak rachok. We're gonna come up with the tongue twisters. What's funny is even in English you say tongue twister and you imagine the tip of the tongue. Hebrew, all the tongue twisters are like the back of the tongue, like Like it's great. Ptashcha, but bga is impossible for. Yeah, Leslie, just let's get it. Let's get the let's. I don't know if it's Leslie or Leslie. I apologize, whichever one. But let's get it together. Bgadim, bgadim. Let's just you do the real linguists are the ones who are sitting on the subway, on their way to phonetics class, just talking to themselves, going bga, bga. There's also some languages have a lateral like nasal release, so like Russian has like a dn kind of sound, yeah, which I can't even like, yeah, I can't do it, but like we'll figure it out. Let's see. Oh, you have all sorts of good stuff in there. All right, tongue twisters in Hebrew. Look at the chat with Nala. Okay, we'll get it all together. All right, I am going to literally, pardon my not Hebrew, I'm going to literally plots if I don't turn on the the mazgan. So I'm going to end this and see you all. I see that nadnya. Yeah, I can't even do it. All right. I'm going to stop making noises at you all, and I will see you all sometime soon, maybe next week, maybe a little bit later. I might do live streams on weird days when I find the time. The thing about the live streams is that I don't make any money whatsoever. This is just having fun. I checked. I think my top grossing live stream made me, not including like I got a super thanks once or a super chat, but like I think I made $2.72 on a live stream recently. To compare, and this is why I do this. I think it's fun. I hope you all have fun. But I think I spent $4 on a coffee and studying Hebrew earlier today. So if I can spend $4 or I can make $2, I'll make $2. Have some fun. Learn from all of you. So хорошего дня. Thank you. Pundog, see ya. I was gonna try to pronounce it. I was like, we were talking about Zulu. I was trying to be like, yeah, yeah. See ya. Okay. All right. So everybody have fun in your Begadim kites, and find a chanut shel bigdei kites, and we will all get comfortable in Begadim matimim shel matimim lakites, and have fun. And at some point, maybe I'll transition to speaking a little bit more Hebrew here. We'll listen to some podcasts. I have some other options of what we're going to do beyond just this book. But thank you all for your time. Really, really appreciate it. This is like the highlight of my week so far. So yeah, I'm gonna end this. But thank you all, and see you sometime soon. And feel free to leave me comments. Obviously, send me an email, whatever you want. I love this. Try dnyom. Okay, I gotta stop this. Bak book bleep kak. Bak book bleep. Bak book bleep. Back boop. I can't even say it here. Back boop. Back book bleep cock. That sounds like bleep cock, right? Like in English, I hear like you're censoring a bad word. Back book bleep cock. Litraot. Yalla. Bye.